Okay, welcome to game 14. Paul's just had an amazing comeback win for game 13 to take a 7-6 lead. Okay, some interesting potential with that opening rack. Not an immediate bonus, I don't think. Lots of potential. I think fat is the obvious move. P-H-A-T. Keeping a strong sat leave. And, well, or something similar. Path. Makes sense. Taking the S. Whereas fat doesn't, so that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, keep strong bonus potential. Can't argue with that. Again, another potential rack. Good bonus potential for Paul. He'll be obviously looking for a bonus. It looks to be potential. I don't think offhand there's anything there, but there may be. So move, for example, would leave a strong bonus keep. Don't think there's a vast score available. So I suspect am, 2, and ho might be the play. It'll keep it restricted while keeping bonus potential. Won't give away too much. Gives off the HO spot for Hawks, for example. That might be the downside of it. Don't see many other options that keep the strong bonus leave, though. You could play OO, but the same problem. So I think it has to be moo. Just hope that Piotr doesn't score heavily off the HO hook. You could play Odeon, making a 4-letter overlap, keeping AM, and that could be played at G9. Or above, either above or below path. But to me, moo's the play. It seems what he's lining up. Oh, he's gone from Moho. Okay. Similar idea, strong bonus he'll leave. He probably wants the O hook or the spot next to the M and the O. So he sacrificed a few points, and he hasn't given away the likes of Hawks. It's much more defensive, and it's more conducive towards his bonus leave. Barista coming down here very quickly. And Quackle agrees. Barista or Bartzia must be very similar. I can't see much of a difference between them. Either of those would be fine. And he's gone for Barista. Nice lead at this point of the game. And Alderman immediately springs to mind. There may be better, but there's certainly a bonus there. And I'm sure you'll see that pretty quickly. Look for something better. Yeah, Adrenal, obviously. Much poorer defense as it opens the triple with an A, but it must be worth the extra 9 points. Piotr's obviously got a completely random rack after Barista, so there's no reason to assume that he has particularly good tiles, like close to 9 timer or anything. But with the A where it is, that's going to give away a lot, but he has to bite the bullet and go for it, which is what he's done. Yeah, I don't think Alderman would be far behind, but Adrenal has to be the play. So back to Piotr. The A and the J look very promising there. He's very likely to play down the bottom left. Can't see anything huge at the moment. There's Gajos. 51. Keeping EN. Suspect that might be his play. Yeah, I think it has to be Gajos. I haven't seen anything better. He's gone for Gadgies. I think Gajos must be slightly better, although he does have the O for next to the J, but EN generally much better, more significantly better than ON for the same score. But not a huge difference. Good score. Yeah, Beneseed has been commented on, is sitting there for Paul. He should see it. Also got Inbreeds and Bendiest slotting in nicely to the side of Mohos. So choice of bonuses, virtually impossible he'll miss them all, certainly with Inbreeds being very common. It's a question of which one. Which one do I prefer? I think Beneseed from D5 would be my choice. But any of the 74-point scoring bonuses would be very close to each other. Paul's decided to play it. Actually, he's changed it. He's agreed with me to put it at the 5th row. Not too much in it, though, I don't think, as long as he plays one of those bonuses. So that's even things up nicely. In fact, put him in a slight lead. Game's nicely poised, which is what we'd like to see. Nice close match, nice close game. And a very awkward rack for Piotr. Very clunky. Very, very tricky rack. Having kept the O, he can play next to the J with something like Dune. That would be the scoring move, but horrible leave, keeping the V and the Q. Other options are just simply changing, keeping NT, for example. Not the pick he would have wanted. I mean, NO was a reasonable leave. Guaranteed a consonant, guaranteed a vowel. It's an awful pickup, very unlucky. But this is where matches are sometimes won, playing through these sorts of difficult racks. I mean, most of the top players can play the easy moves. Another option is oh no, again next to the J, which is what he's gone for. He's probably imagining that's slightly better than a change. If he picks an I, you can play QI, MI, and BI and stuff. So maybe marginally better than a change, although Dune is an extra 5 points. So that must be a slight mistake compared with Dune. It also gives away quite a lot with the JO spot. Anyway, back to Paul. Promising rack. Needs a C for Gynecia, which of course there isn't. But there's lots of bonus potential there, scoring potential. He could, for example, play Ya. There's a very nice move slotting, I'm using Quackle here, there's a very nice move slotting through the R of Adrenal for 49, which I'll not say what it is. I don't know if anybody spotted that yet. Nobody in the chat. That would have a decent leave as well. But something very simple like Ray, for example, Ray and Joy would keep a nice, slightly vowely keep, but lots of potential if he picks up a consonant or two. So I think Ray is probably the most likely play here. Ray and Joy. Scores, keeps a bonus leave. But Erie, AS, Yi, Add, and Erie is 49. Not quite as bonusy leave, but Gan is decent and probably worth the extra 8 points. The slight problem with the Ray move is if you don't bonus, you probably won't bonus through getting too many vowels, and you'll have weak scores for the next couple of moves. Yeah, you've seen it. That's a very good spot. I think it's the sort of thing that might separate Paul from other top players. Ray is the very easy move to play there, and I think Erie is slightly better. At least Quackle agrees statically. And that's a decent lead building up for Paul. Piotr's got the U to go with the Q. Decent pick this time, but it's very clunky. Oh, interesting challenge from Piotr. It's obviously been accepted. Slightly surprising challenge, but unsure for 49, it makes sense. And it's one of those words with several different spellings. Eagle's nest, Erie. So the different numbers of spellings always makes things difficult. Right, fairly obvious play, I think, here of Quant through the A. Don't think there's much else going. And indeed, that's been played. I think no doubt about that one. And that's evened things up nicely, taking it to a 2-point lead. Again, bonus potential here. I don't see huge scoring potential unless I'm missing something. Oh, Quanta, obviously. Quanta. Yeah, something making Quanta vegan has been suggested. It is a good score, obviously. Venal, also possible. But vegan scores 2 points more and keeps a better leave, so it's also a more common word. So I think vegan's much more likely to be played. He's unlikely to miss the quanta hook. I suspect vegan will be coming down. Yep, he's lining it up. And as has been pointed out, it sets up the quantal hook. Having a quick look at venal, but going back to vegan. He's not rushing. Vegan seems fairly obvious move, but he'll be thinking of reasons why you might prefer venal without rushing into it. And it's gone down. Quackle agrees, I agree, I think everybody agrees with vegan. Okay, more interesting racks for Piotr. Scoring potential, the Z and the X, but very clunky. XI is an obvious choice because he's got two O's to go underneath it. Paul is very unlikely to have an O, but he might be able to score off GI. Other possibilities: Vox, Bo, X, and Vox. But I think XI, EX, XI, GI. It's probably a move a club, sort of middling club player would play in about 5 seconds, but Piotr will have seen it, and he'll just be looking for other options and thinking why he may not do that. But only 2 O's unseen. No particular reason to assume that Paul does have an O. He's more likely to, he being Piotr, is more likely to benefit from the XO position anyway, so it's actually a bonus that it opens up XO rather than the negative. Seems to be lining up Vox, though. Slightly surprising to me. I'm actually very surprised at Vox. Why Vox rather than XI? 10 points less. It gets rid of the V, obviously. But to me, that would have given a great opportunity to score underneath the XO. Anyway, Vox isn't bad. I just think XI is better. Straightforward bonus for Paul. I'll say straightforward for a top player. Very quickly plays Verslet. Only bonus and very quickly played. Probably gained a lot of time there as well. So he would have been delighted to see the V suddenly appear. And that could make a huge difference. I mean, it might seem a minor error of Vox over XI, but this may cost him the game. Yeah, I see Craig Beavers in the chat agreeing with it. Yeah, or Vox is quite a surprising move to me. Be interesting to know his reasoning after the game, possibly. Anyway, back to Piotr. Racks. He's had some strange racks this game. Plenty of scoring potential with the Z. Lots of different places to score well, but everything has a very vowely leave, obviously. There's a nice play next to X of ooze. But it does keep AII. He's got Zui, ZOOEAE from K1, but that just gives the Z on the triple, so lots of negatives there. Zoos would be a fairly straightforward play, but leaves 4 vowels, so I think it has to be ooze at C4, making oboes X and N. Yeah, the game's beginning to drift away from Piotr. He can obviously score his way back to a slight deficit, but with the Vowley leave. Okay, he's gone for Zoya and Boa. 3 points less than Ooze, and it keeps 4 vowels rather than 3. So again, that's got to be another slight error. Not a disaster. Right, Paul has gone for Talchemy. Yaz, which I imagine might be challenged. Has it been challenged? Has it been accepted? Holding, I think. Yeah, it's a phony. Talky's good. Be very surprised if this isn't challenged for the score and the position it would put Paul in. It would put him much more than 100 ahead. Fairly blocked board. It's got to be challenged, surely. No, apparently, unless that's a courtesy draw from Paul. Craig, do we have an update? So I can't quite hear whether it's been accepted. Has it been accepted? Yes. Yes. Oh dear. That's. I can't really think why he hasn't challenged. That's a very strange decision, and it's going to be very hard to come back from that. Perhaps the last game was affecting his stability a bit. It was a bad loss if you didn't see it. Not necessarily a mistake, but Paul pulled the game out of the fire with a last-ditch bonus fish. And that may be playing on Piotr's mind. Certainly a strange mistake, which it's going to be hard to come back from. Right, he'll certainly need to bonus, and there's not much potential of that at the moment. So he'll need to score to keep in contention and hopefully score a bonus later. Unfortunately, there's not much he can do to score, and there's a nice juicy spot sitting there next to Talchemy. And he's in deep trouble. He's in deep trouble. I mean, certainly in terms of context, it seems very strange not to challenge Talchemy. Yeah, Hioi, volatile, keeping the S potential for it. Yeah, it's a good play. Quackle agrees statically. If he picks the S, it can be okay. Well, rather not the S, pick the blank. You might be able to use that as an S with Hioi's. But there's a beautiful spot next to Talchemy. Piotr will just be crossing his fingers and hoping that Paul can't get a game-winning score off that. As it happens, there's not a great deal going there. So slightly lucky from Piotr's point of view that Paul didn't play, didn't have, for example, Peek or something, P-double-E-K. That would have been pretty much a game-winning score. Kip is possible. Kip, QI up. That would restrict vegans, and it would restrict the I of Hioi. I quite like that. Nice leave. EINC. It would also restrict Q plays onto the triple. Quit, for example. But it's looking very good for Paul. 82-point lead with a turn to come. He's probably even going to survive a bonus, which might not even come for Piotr. Although, of course, there are the 2 blanks unseen, so he has to be careful. There might be mileage in playing more tiles to restrict Piotr to 1 bonus, although 2 bonuses seem very unlikely here. Yeah, Dinnick is nice, very restrictive. That doesn't stop he eyes, but it stops a bonus from he eyes. Yeah, good defense. Can't argue with that. Would leave CH with possibly a blank, but again, that's very restrictive. 110-point lead. It's looking very bad for Piotr, although he does have the blank. And he has a score of Reef. The problem being is, where's his bonus going to come from? Yeah, if he's going to play Reef very quickly. And if you can squeeze a bonus in somehow, he has a chance, but it's difficult to see where that's going to come from. If he picks the second blank, maybe, I think he's going to have to. And it's not on Paul's rack, so it may find its way onto Piotr's rack. And Kip is still possible. That's one of the beauties of Dinnick. It left that possibility next move. Dinnick left Kip, and he may have foreseen that, so that's quite a smart move. And top players will often do that. They'll play a certain move which guarantees them, well, almost guarantees them a certain strength of move the next time. So I think Kit would be the play. Kit would block vegans. Now Paul has a 66-point lead. Any decent score will take him, say, 90-ish ahead. He really just has to guard against a big bonus. Something, for example, through the D of Dinnick wouldn't be a problem, or through the Z even, that's not a problem. He really just has to guard against high scoring bonuses, for example, off SO at the bottom left. Piotr, as we can see, has the second blank. Yeah, Paul's gone for the score and the leave. Kip, I thought he might. Oh, I agree, Quackle agrees, and he's 101 points ahead. And it's looking desperate for Piotr. There may be a bonus, but he needs a big bonus, I suspect. There's nothing he can do. He could maybe set up something, triple. QIN, for example, using one of the blanks, and then just hope for a miracle bonus, but then you'd have to use the blank as an S, and I don't think there's any tile that would give a bonus there. He could fish for something off SO. Again, it needs to be a heavy bonus, and any sort of score from Paul is going to win it for him. WOF, for example, as we can see, DO, IF, and WOF is simply going to score enough, so I can't see anything that Piotr can reasonably do here. Pretty desperate times. He could play, for example, id, setting up the triple at the top of the board, hoping that Paul can't play a 6 onto it, and then he'll squeeze the bonus in somewhere, maybe Upo, ups, vegans, something like that, or off the SO, but it's getting really desperate. In a normal tournament, he'd probably be looking for just a consolation bonus to keep the spread down, which is probably quite doable, but it's not going to win in the game. He could play something like EWE, opening up the triple 9-timer, but that's easily blocked with something like wife, scores, and blocks. anybody in chat suggesting something that he could potentially fish, miracle fish? I don't see it myself. And he's gone for GU. He probably needs a phony from Paul to have any chance here, which isn't going to happen. Waff should win it for him. And in the context of best, Paul doesn't need to work out the best endgame, really. He just needs to play something sensible. Doesn't need to worry too much about a bonus. Waff is going to score his way out. He will be looking to see whether any bonus off SO, for example, might lose. What would be required? He's got a 77-point lead. He's lining up Tofu. Tofu would be 35, giving the 112-point lead. Piotr would need to score 100 to draw. Now, about the worst thing could happen was the W would be on D15. That's only 95. So the highest possible move of SO is 95, which isn't going to lose. So Tofu's going to outrun anything there. What about ups and vegans? I'm sure nothing fits, but even if it did, that would be 16. That would be 97. Again, it's not enough. And Waff will do a similar job. In fact, Waff's better because it's the same score, but the leave is only -8 effectively if Piotr goes out. So again, he's not rushing. I mean, some club players would think the game's in the bag. I'll just play anything, it's fine. But he'll be looking for the very worst case now. Maybe even a bonus through SAR. But there's no doubles there, so again, that wouldn't score enough. That would be 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, only 83, nothing like enough. So I suspect Paul will be doing very much as I am, just counting out the very worst case possibilities, and both Tofu and Waff cover them fine. Yep, he's gone for Tofu, which is going to win. I'm a big fan of Tofu, both in terms of this move and the substance itself. Going to have some tonight. Now, does Piotr have a consolation bonus, which is all it will be? He is quite some way behind. 112, I think, if my calculations are right. I don't see it on the screen. And no bonus is going to work. There is, according to Quackle, only one bonus. I'll not give it away, give you a chance to see it. But it will be entirely consolation. It could be crucial in a tournament for spread, but probably not in best, unless it's a draw. But there is a bonus, and only one. Wonder if you'll see it. It's a sort of context where if you had to see it and it would win the game, you would very likely see it. But Piotr will be fairly demoralized now, having lost this one and the previous one in a fairly excruciating manner. The only bonus is through the Z. but it has novelty value in that it's making the blank a Z. I suspect in this context he won't see it, just because he'll be in a sort of mental lull, and he knows it doesn't matter. He may well be looking for some winning move, although that would have to be slotted in, as far as I can see, QIS, Oppo, and then vegans, and then that's restricting you to one exact set of tiles, which doesn't even make a bonus, so not much hope there. And Lewis Mackay is saying in the chat that there's no bonuses off SO. In fact, only sword-like would work in, for example, clabbers, where you can play anagrams of the words. So Piotr will just be looking for a constellation bonus. It might help his mentality if you can spot one, cheer him up a bit for the next game. Not to be underestimated the psychological effect of that. But it's not going to win him the game. If he doesn't see the bonus, there's not much going. Even with the W and the 2 blanks, you could play something like worse and vegans rather. Paul is sitting with WIR, so he's got at least a couple of outs. Wire or weir, possibly something better than that. I'm not sure how much time Piotr's got left. There's different schools here as to whether you should try to carry on playing accurately and put mental energy into it, or just move on and concede the game and conserve your mental energy. I think there's a lot to be said for either point of view, and it's entirely a personal choice. Yeah, Swizzler would be the best play, and worse would be worse. I'm not sure how the spread situation. Craig, do you have an update on the spread situation, just in case, for example, the draw or perhaps whoever starts in the deciding game? So it's gone rather quiet here, a bit of a lull. Craig Beavers, do you have an update on the spread situation for best, just in case it comes into play? Is somebody significantly ahead on spread? Yeah, my take on this situation is that it's not really worth. It's certainly not in best. It seems to be lining up worse. It's not really worth expending too much mental energy trying to get the best play in a dead end game. It probably is worth trying to spot a winning bonus here. You know, you never know. We know it doesn't exist because we can go through all the permutations with Quackle, but you never know. It's worth looking, but it's not necessarily worth looking for a move that loses by 60 rather than 90. It's not that big a deal as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I think he's played worse there. And then Paul will play out. And he's played out with Weir. And it's a win for Paul by, what's the spread there? Paul wins by 88 as far as I can see. So thanks for watching. As Paul takes a crucial 8-6 lead, or what could be a crucial 8-6 lead.